Now, what do you call a naval parade with no parade? A commander-in-chief who vanishes like a bad magician? Or indeed, look here, a cadet or cadets accidentally bayoneting their own nostrils during salute practice. Well, you call this Navy Day in Russia 2025. And let's begin with the immortal line and the immortal concept of the whole thing called off because of fear of Ukrainian drones. How are the mighty fallen? I expected to see a little dinghy surmounted by a reinforced Smeg fridge ease out from a gilded pontoon to greet the naval cadets, but we were denied even that hint of Putin's labifacious and labidificatory le jeu de main. I'm sorry, those words are probably worthy of Gibbon, or at least Gilbert and Sullivan. This was meant to be a grand show. 150 ships, 120 aircraft, 15,000 personnel, a few submarines that might even float, and thousands of grim-faced cadets standing at such unnatural angles that many of them looked as if they were attempting, as I say, to stick their bayonets directly up their own noses. Don't believe me? Check it out. Do you want to see the picture again? Look, here it is, trying to stick their bayonets up their noses. That's Russian military pride. If balletic nose skewering ever becomes an Olympic sport, the Russian Navy will be unstoppable. But alas, the great Navy Day parade in St. Petersburg was cancelled, and the reason, well, the official Kremlin line was security concerns. That's like calling the Titanic's issue a mild nautical inconvenience. And here's what really happened. Putin, ever the showman, had already arrived in St. Petersburg. There's footage of him lurking about like a sort of disease, ready to review the ships. Maybe wave from a recycled Soviet gunboat dressed up with golden curtains and a bottle of Baltica 3. And then suddenly the parade was cancelled. Why? Because the Ukrainians had launched drone strikes the night before that hit multiple military-industrial sites. Airports in Pskov and St. Petersburg were shut down. Now, ask yourself, if you can't even keep Pulkovo Airport open, do you really want to stage a flamboyant naval ballet with 15,000 sailors in bayonet fencing formation while Ukrainian drones buzz about like mosquitoes with payloads? It's less Navy Day and more like Don't Hit Me, I'm Just a Dictator Day. The Navy lark. And yet the script had already been written. In the Kremlin's alternate universe, the fleet had already confirmed its combat readiness, though nobody saw it because the cameras were switched off and most of the ships remained in port or were actively dodging drones. But no matter. In Putin's Russia, readiness is something you declare. You don't demonstrate it. Let's not ignore the economic subplot here. Russia's wartime economy, once fueled by military spending, is running on fumes. The central bank just dropped interest rates again from 20% to 18%. That's like giving a morphine drip to a man with gangrene and calling it a health plan. Inflation is rampant. Military production is overstretched. And now even Aeroflot is being hacked, possibly by Ukrainians, possibly by bored IT students from Kharkiv. Of course, I have to point out, because I would be wrong to overlook this fact, butter is now available in supermarkets. It's not padlocked to a shelf. But back to the Navy. The real ceremony took place far away from the drone-threatened skies of St. Petersburg. In Severodvinsk, Putin appeared at the Knya's Pozharsky, a new Borai A-class submarine that hasn't yet fired a missile, hasn't completed sea trials, and yet it's being paraded as the future of Russian deterrence. It's like handing a teenager the keys to a larder and declaring him winner of the Monaco Grand Prix. The submarine will soon be in the Northern Fleet. Ooh, let's push it out. A fleet which must sail 24 hours across shallow waters before it can even dive deep enough to hide from onlookers. Compare that to the Pacific Fleet, where subs vanish beneath the deep like ashamed relatives at a family reunion. And why shouldn't they be ashamed? They're Russian after all. In other words, Russia's much vaunted nuclear deterrent may soon be in the hands of a vessel that's barely been wet, and that commanders who can't find the ignition have never really tried it out. Oh, look, it floats. Well, I think the whole point about a submarine is it sinks. Putin's decision to skip the parade, in short, is an act of cowardice dressed in epaulettes. He showed up to raise the flag at a remote Arctic shipyard, but not to stand in his own city where drones now fly more freely than thoughts in a Kremlin press conference. And now we come full circle. Navy Day was supposed to be a moment of grandeur, a feast of pomp, pride, and paranoid choreography. Instead, it was cancelled, replaced with a stage-managed murmur in Severodvinsk and a handful of perfunctory fireworks over an empty river. Russia's navy remains dangerous, yes, but also demoralized, drone-ridden, diplomatically abandoned. Its commander-in-chief wants the swaggering Tsar of bare-chested photo ops is now the ghost of a glory he cannot sustain. He promises more ships, more missiles, more legions, but he cannot deliver a simple parade. It's like trying to count out the ice from his fridge. And yet how are the mighty fallen? Bayonets in noses, smeg fridges unlaunched, submarines undelivered. A state built on illusion can no longer even stage one properly. Happy Navy Day, comrades. May your parade at least arrive on time in the metaverse. Happy Navy Day, comrades. May your parade at least arrive on time in the Marvel metaverse. And so, how are the mighty fallen? Bayonets in noses, smeg fridges unlaunched, submarines undelivered, a state built on illusion that no one can actually stage properly. So, happy Navy Day, comrades. May your parade at least arrive rather like the constant revival and the constant saga of Marvel films in the Marvel universe. May it arrive in the metaverse. May it be renewed and look pretty, probably next time with a new cast and maybe an alternate Putin. There's plenty of them.